You're down there in Canberra this week, and I know you're travelling to other parts of our nation. You've been speaking to politicians, presumably. Are they moved by what you're saying? And do you think it might cause them to start to speak up? Because very few politicians in this country will speak up. And that to me is a great tragedy. We've had the Cass review come out of England. It's very clear. The evidence is in. You're living proof of it, but there's plenty of evidence on the public record. What will it take for politicians to ban this sort of stuff and stop the harm of people like yourself?
Unfortunately, I think it's going to take the stories of people like me who have already been harmed by it in order to make a move and stop this from happening again. And I could tell that these politicians, they were very moved. And I could see that in their faces, in their responses. And in my experience in the States, many of these politicians, even though they had their minds and their hearts in the right place, many of them were often scared to act on this issue because they didn't really feel empowered to be able to do so. And it's the stories of people like me, of the children, of the young men and women, of the families who are being affected by this, that encourage them to go forward and protect their communities.
Yeah. I believe there's also a protest at one of your meetings. You were visiting with some politicians in the New South Wales Parliament. Did that disrupt your event at all?
I didn't see any of it at all, luckily. Although while I was in the middle of giving my speech, I think I heard a heckler in the hallway, but it sounded like that the security dealt with them pretty quickly.
Yeah. So what's your message then to Australian politicians who, many of whom have doubled down on this issue? There's a bill, as you know, in the New South Wales State Parliament, the equivalent of a state house in the US, to have another one of these conversion therapy bans, so-called. What's your message to Australian politicians?
It's easy to think, well, this is coming from an American girl, let alone a California girl. It's crazy California, right? Can't be happening here. No, this is going on in your own communities. This is happening to at least one family, at least one child. And whether it be one child or 10 children, 100 or 1,000 children, this is a dangerous ideology, a mutilative, destructive practice that has no place anywhere on earth. Children everywhere deserve better. They deserve to be shown real love and compassion. They deserve to be told no. They deserve to have responsible adults around them who will lead them into lives as healthy, whole adults.
Yeah. What's your message then to young people who are like you? Perhaps they might be 12 or 13 and they're struggling with their gender identity. What should they do?
It's normal and healthy to have these reservations about growing up and all the discomfort that comes with going through puberty and the pain that comes with all the change. It's normal. And pain is a part of our lives that it's a necessity. It helps us to grow as people. Don't ever think that anything that you're going through is unique to you or that you can't get through it without help from the people around you. And that help doesn't necessarily mean being affirmed in this idea that you're born in the wrong body or being told that, yes, you are of the opposite sex, you are who you identify as, and having people refer to you by your preferred name and pronouns, because it's not you. The only person who you can be is yourself. And you can't live a lie every day about who you fundamentally are. It's okay to have these differences, to not feel like you're 100% like the women or the girls or the men or the boys around you. Because those things that make you different are the things that make you unique. And it's all gifts that one day you will grow to embrace, and those will be your strengths.
Chloe, what's your view on how those of us who are clear about who we are biologically, but when we see people who are struggling and they are requiring us to use their preferred pronouns, this is more and more of a thing. How should we respond to those sort of requests?
I think it's important to balance being compassionate and telling the truth to these people. It's important that they feel like they're being listened to, that they're accepted as who they are, but also that we push back on these ideas that they have about their identities, about of being the opposite sex, because chances are they might not have somebody in their life who cares enough or is brave enough to give them that pushback that they need,
Mm, mm.
especially children. I
Yeah,
mean, no child, let alone any adult man or woman, deserves to believe that they were born in the wrong body and that they're sick,
yeah. No,
that they can only be fixed through experimental medicine.
yeah. No, very well said, Chloe. I really love the way you balance compassion with truth. Chloe, I've just noticed in the news this week that back in the US, where you're from, the Biden administration is trying to overturn state laws with regard to, banning the administration of so-called gender-affirming care, puberty blockers, surgery, etc., hormones. It's going to the US Supreme Court for adjudication. This is still a red hot culture war issue in the United States, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. And I'm not surprised, but I'm also very confident that the side of truth and compassion will win over.
Mm. Yeah, very good. Well, Chloe, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today on ADH TV. Enjoy the rest of your trip to Australia, and I hope many, many people here in this country hear your message. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Take care.